new school year has begun, more kids are walking and biking on the roads. Joining us now to talk about back to school safety is Dr. Greg Rebella, a pediatric emergency medicine physician with UW Health Kids in Madison. Dr. Rebella, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So before we jump into safety tips, do you often see more injuries in children at the start of the school year?
Yeah, as parents, we hope and expect that school zones will be safe zones for kids, but unfortunately, there are about 25,000 injuries in children either on their way to school or within these school zone areas each year. And by far the most common cause is when either a walking or biking child is struck by a vehicle. And these will typically occur when children are crossing streets that do not have crossing guards, in which case the child is pretty much left to their own to make a road crossing. And we know they're small, they're sometimes kind of hard to see. They may not look left, right, left before they step off the curve, or they may cross mid block outside the crosswalk. And these are all factoring into some of those injury numbers we see. Each year, we also see some kids who are coming off of school buses and are hit by vehicles that haven't made the stop behind the bus, or they attempt to make a turn in front of the bus, and they hit a child who's standing there. Obviously, that's a very dangerous thing to do. The child is expecting to be able to cross the street for traffic that's supposed to be stopped, and severe injuries and occasionally deaths occur every year because of this.
Yeah, definitely some shocking statistics there. So what are some safety tips for kids who are walking and biking to school?
For the walking and biking children, just make sure that they're crossing at the marked crosswalks and look before crossing a street, especially if there is not a crossing guard. Try to make eye contact with the drivers. And for our teenagers, emphasize the importance of staying alert. Thanks to some of these public education efforts like this, we've actually seen a slight downward trend in school zone pedestrian deaths in most age groups, except for teens, in which we've actually seen an increase. And a study by Safe Kids was performed to try to look and figure out exactly why that is. And they observed teenage behaviors in these school zones and found that 25 to 30% of them were distracted, either having headphones in their ears or were on their phone. And in that same study, 80% of those teens demonstrated unsafe street crossing behavior, either crossing at unmarked intersections or crossing between cars. And obviously, that's a bad combination and likely explains some of those increase in injuries and deaths in our teenage pedestrians.
Right, definitely great advice for all drivers to keep in mind with back to school season. Dr. Bella, thank you again so much for joining us this morning.
Absolutely. Have a good day.